Hi everyone. I am back from my trip to Belgium and it was really the trip of a lifetime. I had the best time. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about it and some of the tips that I had and that I did for when I traveled. I did travel alone. So key thing there is that I do a lot of research ahead of time, where my hotel is located, some of the things that I want to go to, how close is that hotel, what's going to be in walking distance, how far is the train station, and all that stuff. So I stayed at the Hotel Metropole. It was in the city center and it was an excellent location. Now, I knew it was going to be good because it was going to be close to a lot of the things I wanted, but honestly, I was pleasantly surprised when I got there because they had an ice skating rink outside. The Hotel Metropole is actually in like a little square. So they had a temporary ice skating rink for Christmas week. And they also had a Christmas market right there along next to the ice skating rink. There was also a train stop. De Brugiere was one of the train stops. It stopped right in front of my hotel. So, that made it really easy for mass transit, getting to like the central station and things like that. Now, the hotel was also located 5 blocks from the Grand Place. The Grand Place is the place that you're going to want to go to no matter what time of year you're in Brussels. You want to go to the Grand Place. Now, I was there Christmas week, and Christmas week is a little bit special because I will say Europe does it good. Christmas week, they love to decorate with Christmas lights. So the Grand Place every year, they are old buildings. They have the city hall, the town hall is there, and the old guild house buildings. They date back to the 1400s. So they're very old. They are on the UNESCO historical site, and it is a square. So they call, the French call it the Grand Place, the English call it the Grand Square, and the Dutch call it Groot Market. So it is actually all the same place. So it is a square. It's all cobblestone and beautiful. But at night, so you can go and see it during the day, but then at night they do a light show, and it's a holiday light show with music, Christmas music. They have a Christmas tree in the center of the square. They had a manger scene. Yes, a manger scene. And it was just beautiful. Now, from the Grand Market, the Grand Place, there you have all these little side streets that are cobblestone. So you have all these streets, these cafes. The mannequin piece is the little statue of the little boy who's pissing. That is a statue well known in Brussels. So you kind of have to find him, and he is only a couple of blocks from the Grand Place. Then you have to find Jeanette. She's another statue, and she's kind of going the other direction, but she's not far from the Grand Place as well. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt. Go find those statues. There is a little dog also. So you can certainly go down to your concierge and ask them about that. Grab yourself a map it out, and go find them. That's kind of fun. So I did do that. I did find 2 out of the 3. I did not find the little dog. But it was kind of fun, and it's kind of hilarious because it's a little boy peeing and a little girl peeing. So it's like everybody's running around trying to find these statues, So it's pretty funny. But that's probably the highlight of my trip. Now, other things to do in Brussels, the Christmas markets. So the Christmas markets, when you find a Christmas market, there'll be little tiny huts. They are serving like mulled wine you can buy. You can buy beer. You can buy candy, chocolate. They have everything. They have scarves, hats, just everything you could imagine. Peanuts, crackling peanuts that smell so good. On one side of the Christmas market will be the Ferris wheel. And then on the other side of the Christmas market is usually the Grand Cathedral. So it's just, you'll come across these all over Brussels. So I kept just walking down these streets, and then I would come upon another Christmas market, and I'd be like, wow, this is awesome. So they did have one in front of the Stock Exchange building as well. So just, you will have no problem finding things to do. Some other things to do. one day when I first got there, I did the hop on, hop off bus. That's probably one of the best ways to get to know whatever city you're staying in. Do that hop on and hop off, because then you can have an overview of the entire city that you're going to and figure out where you want to go back and where you want to see. Now, one thing with Brussels, they do have a royal family, but you cannot go and see like the royal palace. You cannot tour it inside. It's not like England where you can go to Kensington or you can go to Buckingham. You can also tour Windsor. So they don't let anyone tour. The only time that you can tour the royal gardens is there's a certain like 2-week or 3-week period. I'm not sure when that is, but you can Google that. So, but it is kind of cool just to walk by. You can definitely see the Grand Palace. And then the other thing that's really cool, they have St. Hubert Royal Galleries. Now that dates back to 1846, and that's like a gallery, shopping gallery of stores, but there are a bunch of chocolate shops in there. And one thing that I do, you've got to eat the Belgium chocolate because it's the best. So they have so many chocolate shops, but you want to eat at a place where there's a chocolatier. So they make the chocolate right there. They have someone special. And so some of the places that you want to go to is number one on my list would be Mary's. Mary's was so good. And I would go in like every night and I would get a couple of little salted caramel pralines. And what you want to do, and I'm not going to tell you because you'll do it yourself, is ask them what the difference between a praline and a truffle is. So that'll be something you can ask and learn. But Mary's was number one. Elizabeth's was another one. The chocolatier for Elizabeth won the award for 2019. So you definitely want to try that one. The other ones that I had was Neuhaus, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it kind of looks like that. So hopefully you can read that. And then here's Mary's right here. So I got some chocolate to take home from Mary's, which was so good. And then my son Dandoy is another one, and Pierre Marcolini. Now, I got a hot chocolate from that place, the Marcolini place. And you can find about 4 of these in the St. Hubert Royal Galleries. But I got a hot chocolate, and it was the best hot chocolate I've ever had. So they poured my chocolate, and she says, "Do you want chocolate mousse on it?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want chocolate mousse." And then they put whipped cream, and then they put a couple little chocolates and a couple little wafers. And they give you a spoon. So it's not just a hot chocolate, it is decadent dessert. But it's definitely yummy, and you will enjoy it. So you've got to try the hot chocolate. The other thing is I was walking around on my first day, just trying to get to know Brussels. I was a little hungry. So you'll find these little like places where you can just pick up some fries. They call their fries frites. They don't serve ketchup with them like we do here. They do serve them with like a spicy mayonnaise, and some places have like 6 different toppings, like all 6 different mayonnaise. So some are really spicy, some are just plain mayonnaise, but it's really cool, and they're basically French fries. So you have to try those because you walk around with them in your hand, and it's just kind of fun. The other thing is mussels. Mussels is huge. So that's kind of the dish of Brussels. Meatballs also is another thing you should try, and you will love the food. So you can't go wrong with that. Some other things, I did not get a chance to do this, but I really wanted to. And it's the Museum for Napoleon Bonaparte, and it's the Battle of Waterloo. It is not far from Brussels. You can take a train. That's another thing. You can walk everywhere and you can take the train. So their system's fantastic. I was 5 blocks from the Grand Central Station, so that made it so easy. And I would walk by St. Hubert's Galleries every time I would go to the station. So my hotel was in a great location. But that is a museum. That's Museum 1815. And that's the last place that Bonaparte was. So that's the Battle of Waterloo. And then in southern Belgium, I did not do this either because I didn't have time, because I was more in Brussels and the northern part, which I'll get to. But you can go to Luxembourg, and you can also do the Battle of the Bruges. Is that right? Battle of, not Bruges, the Battle of the Bulge. So that is another museum that's really phenomenal, and it's World War I, World War II, and they will actually have a lot of American presence there and recognize that. So I find that to be pretty cool. So much history in Belgium, and then the other cities that I went to were Bruges, Antwerp, and Ghent. And I'm going to save those for another video because those were some of my highlights. So Brussels is a phenomenal place. I used it as my mainstay, and then I took the trains to all of the places that I wanted to go. So I did not buy a Brussels pass because I was not going to be in Brussels my entire stay. It was where my hotel was, but from there, like, you can go to Bruges. Bruges is probably an hour by train. You can go to Ghent, which is 30 minutes, and then Antwerp, 45 minutes. So it was a holiday week. The trains discount. Yes, they discount. It's not like America. They actually discount. And I took the train to Bruges, $10 round trip. Or no, 10 euros, 10 euros. And then same with Ghent, 10 euros. When I went to Antwerp, 8.50, 8 euros and 50 cents. So, I mean, that's the going to the train. Now, when you're at these places for holiday week, and I'll get into this in the other video a little bit more, there's also, you get off the train and I'll tell you like what to do and where to go in each specific place. But from Brussels, that was my central station, like where my hotel, I'd always go back there. One other thing that I did was my trip cost me, and I use Expedia, I had round trip airfare. I had a 5-star hotel for 7 nights. And I got transportation to and from the airport. I also got breakfast every morning. That is something that I like to have. I like to start off my day with a cup of coffee. I don't want to have to go finding a cafe. Like if I get up at 6 a.m. because time change and stuff, then I want to be able to get coffee. So this had breakfast for me and it was included. And all of that cost me, yes, $1,800. So it's not as expensive as you think it is, but it was well worth it. Also, traveling as a woman by myself, I make it a point to stay at a nicer hotel in a nicer location. So I'm going to spend a little bit more money on my hotel versus a cheap one, just not being in the location that I want to be. I want to be in a safe location. I want things around me that I can just walk out the door and go. So Hotel Metropole was definitely a great hotel. It's an old historic building, so that's kind of fun. I had my towel bar was heated in the room. It had a big tub, and I actually bought some salts in Bruges and took a bath because I walked so much, my legs were killing me. my feet were about done, and that's why I didn't get to the War Museum, because I just kept going and going and going. There's so much to see and so much to do. So I hope you will get out there and go on an adventure. And don't be afraid. And if you're traveling by yourself, it's okay, because, you're never alone, never alone. People are so nice. They do speak English as a second language. You'll find that a lot in Europe. The main language is French, but they have Dutch, French, a little bit of German. Flemish is the language of Belgium, but most Europeans speak English as a second language, so it does make it easier for you. So I hope this helps, and Belgium is a beautiful country. It's located in a great place because you have Germany to the north and France to the south. You have Amsterdam also to the north, and Luxembourg also. So it's a great hub. So for $1,800, that's what I did. Now, I did also go to Paris for one day. Now, if I had stayed in Paris for the week of Christmas, I would have spent probably about $4,000 to $5,000. And so I just wanted to go for the day, and I did. I took the fast train. Brussels is a great stopping point. There's fast trains from like Amsterdam to Brussels and Amsterdam to Paris. And so Brussels is a great like midway. But I took it. It took me an hour and a half on Thalys, Thalys, Thalys train, and it was like a bullet train. I did go first class on that because I wanted the comfort, and they do serve food if you do go first class. And you're looking at first class, probably about 100 euros, but it was worth it to me because that was one day. I'm going to go to Paris, and I booked Versailles, and I booked ahead. So with Versailles, you definitely have to get the tickets ahead of time, and I did book them before I left. I also went to the Louvre. I booked those tickets ahead of time too. I had my schedule really, I left at 7 in the morning, got into Paris, and then I had a tour that started at 10 o'clock in the morning to go to Versailles. We were there till 2, and then I went to the Louvre from 2:30 to 5, and then I went to the Eiffel Tower at 6:30. So I was right there, with all of my tours, so I could get it and fit it all in. The one thing that's nice about the tours is you skip the line. Versailles, you have to do a tour because you will skip the line and you don't want to spend your time waiting on those long lines. Same with the Louvre. I did see the Mona Lisa at the Louvre, but the Louvre is so big. You could spend a week in there and it would not be enough time. It was very crowded. It was very hot. Christmas week, once I saw Mona Lisa, I said, bye-bye, I have to go. It's just a little too much for me. I will talk about the Rubens, which I really enjoyed. That's a museum in Ghent, and I'll talk about that in my other video. So I hope this helped, and I hope you will get out there and travel. Remember, you are not a tourist. You are a traveler. So don't be afraid. Get out there and have some fun and enjoy the world. Thanks.